All right, here we go. We're recording. Good afternoon, class, and I hope everyone's well and good at this point in time. Um, Ayun, no? Natuwa ako dun sa mga homework ninyo. Ang gagaling ninyo. uh, can I ask questions about that? Jules, you were one of the first to be done with that. How was it for you? And how was the response?
Well, I really tried to do something where, without cheating or going out and getting any ingredients. And we've been doing it the past 3 months now, and actually just blending stuff.
Yeah.
The photos I took, I even put two different varieties of the bowls that we put in there. Hirap lang trying to get any reaction from a teenager who doesn't want to say anything. Besides, it's good. I mean, that was the difficult part. And then, but yeah, it was fun. It was funny because all of the ingredients that I put there, I never really sorted everything until you had us do the homework. Everything's just in a bag, everything's just in a pantry, and then all of a sudden, wait.
Yeah.
Maganda pala tingnan to. And it was actually fun going through that process.
Cool. You know, kasi naman the idea.
And then
sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying I actually had my daughter read what I wrote, and she was the one who actually reminded me after about 2 days later, saying, "Dad, you didn't tell anyone where the acai is from." Then it hit me. Oh, okay, I didn't do my research. Sorry. So
kids will say the
my lesson there.
Kids will say the funniest things. That's absolutely awesome. Francis, how was it for you, man?
Yeah, it was very challenging for me because as I mentioned in the write-up, I don't cook. So I was thinking ever since the class ended Saturday, what was I gonna do? And then you said in Messenger, you have to post by Sunday evening. So I thought I had until Monday. Now I have just one day to think about it. So I just went, I can only cook 3 things. So eggs, corned beef, and hot dogs. So I went with 2 of those. And a good thing we had stock of those.
That's good. Actually naman, di ba, we're not, if you're able to create a masterpiece in such a short amount of time, then that's great. But again, the idea here is to see your creativity. There's a reason why I asked you to do this. Di ba, I've been asking you when you write, when you take photos, your videos, to look at everything around you with different eyes. And I want you to look also at food with different eyes. And you really need to reinvent yourself at this point in time. There are 27 million unemployed Filipinos right now since the pandemic, and that is massive. And, you know, I get why they're going back to GCQ tomorrow. It's probably not smart, but, you know, I expect infections to go up. I hope not. I really hope not. I hope it gets better. But again, no vaccine, it ain't getting better. So again, the point of the exercise is 1, creativity. Number 2, for you to look at things with different eyes. Number 3, to see if you can come up with something that you can do as your side negosyo while using the basic principles of journalism, writing, photography, social media to promote it. As I told you in the chat box, next on this Saturday, we're having Pauline Lagdameo. You might want to Google her. Pauline, Pauline, Lagdameo. She's a chef, and she was my classmate in Ateneo. She came from Assumption, then she went to Ateneo. We were classmates in a lot of subjects, and she's a chef. She's a renowned chef, and she agreed to grace our class. What she's going to do is she's going to whip up something very simple using simple ingredients in the kitchen. Pang quick fix na pandemic, di ba? And then you guys are supposed to ask her questions, see what you can learn from her using these simple things, and then write about it. The best piece I will help get published. You don't think that if you don't get published, that doesn't mean that you didn't turn in something good. I'm going to look for all these opportunities for all of you. In fact, tomorrow, Amy and AJ, 3:30 yung press conference with Ryan Kayabyab. Okay? AJ, there's a songwriting workshop with Ebe Dancel. I'm going to put you there. There's no date for that yet. I'm going to look for all these. Erica, there's a PETA workshop. And I'll see if I can get a lot of you in all these different workshops or press conferences. And then, of course, you guys have to write about it. You're not just there to attend. You're there to learn and at the same time write about it. And if you turn in a good piece, I'm going to help make sure that it gets published. Again, this is all about opportunities for all of you. Opportunities. Now, I'm going to ask one more person. Andrea, how was it for you, the food thing?
So I cook pancakes. Basically, I don't really cook. So when you gave us the assignments, it was really hard for me. I don't cook, so I don't really know what to do. And then I just researched on the internet, and I came across how to make pancakes. So then I asked my mom if we had the ingredients, and luckily we had. So it turned out great. The people who tasted it at home really liked it. So I'm going to be making more soon.
Yeah, then towards the end of this class, I'm going to be asking you to develop posters, to create posters. Okay, ganito. On Saturday, we have Pauline. The next session, we will have, I'm not sure yet. We're probably going to have a musician or a actress, one of them. Then I'm going to ask you to do a video. I won't tell you what the video is yet, but you probably know na. I'm going to ask you to do a simple 1-minute video of who am I. But that's not now. Don't worry about it. Kasi it's part of the branding thing that I'm asking you to become. Like brand Jules, brand AJ, brand Amy, brand Alyssa, brand Isa, brand King, brand Chris, all of you. Brand J, diba? That's the idea there. Now, we're going to be continuing last week's class in writing. But before that, maganda yung discussion last night in the chat room. I shared some articles. And AJ, thank you so much for that comment. No? Or even sila Erica were saying about writing visually. And, you know, I like what AJ said. No? That's without using adjectives the way you were able to describe. To be very honest with you, AJ, I did not arrive at that easily. I'm like all of you. We all started from nothing until you started using all the big words and all that stuff. As I told you, in high school, I was getting A's in my essays, in my reports. When I got to college, I was getting F's and B's, C minuses, C pluses. The highest I ever got was a B plus. I never got an A in college. Not once. Imagine that. And I was in the honor section. Di ako makakuha. Siguro kasi they were deconstructing, I realized later on, they were deconstructing my style because I was writing too much like all these famous American or British writers. I'm not them, diba? And that's them. Why am I copying them? People would rather read these people than me. Like, who am I, diba? So I had to refine it. I didn't get it. It was only when I got to advertising that I found my style. I'm not suggesting you go to advertising because it's altogether a different animal, but I enjoyed it. It further deconstructed my style because, as I've been telling you, less is more. So, you know, you have to trim the fat. Now, before we go to the writing, I want to, here's an exercise. I'm going to show some pictures because we're going to be doing photography as well. The person I'm trying to get to say is an award-winning photographer, Albert Garcia. He's based now in Canada. He just migrated right before the start of the pandemic. Right before. And sabi nga ni Jules, 14 hours behind. So Albert has agreed. But sabi ni Rick, paano yung time difference? Sabi ko, gumawa ka na lang ng video. I will just ask you questions. Sagutin mo lahat sa video. So hindi pa naman nagagawa ni Albert kasi they're in the process of settling down pa lang, and there's a pandemic, and But anyway, I'm going to share some photos with you. And dito sa photos na to, I want you to write something in the chat box. The things that pop into your head, huh? Write it in the chat box. You guys ready? Okay. We'll start with this. Okay. Write the first thing that pops into your mind. The first word, first phrase, first sentence. Just write it. Go with the flow, guys. What emotions you feel. You know, what are your thoughts? Don't tell me they're cars. Like, come on, man. I took this photo. It's in Northern Ireland. An absolutely beautiful place once you get out of Belfast. Belfast is gonna frighten you to the core, man. Takot na takot. Ang ganda ng Belfast, pero because of the sectarian strife, it's frightening. But it's beautiful. It's, man, if kung wala lang sectarian strife, I'd love to live there, especially in this part. Okay. Tignan na natin yung mga chat, yung mga nalagay nyo sa chat. Sige lang. No wrong or right answers, guys, but what you feel. Sige lang, what you see. Describe it. Or try to tell a story in a word or phrase, a sentence or two. Don't give me a novel, please. Don't. Sige, tignan natin yung chat. Oh, dami na pala. Carson says summoning. Breathtaking, says Amy. Balance from AJ. Swirl from Chris. Ay, teka. Na-miss ko pala yung iba. Surreal, sabi ni Carson. Calm, sabi ni Jay. Isa says peaceful. Andrea says summer, paradise from Erica. Francis says vacation. Si King says heaven. Erica says Jules says camping. Alyssa missing. AJ dangerous. Si Erica ulit with emphasis dahil naka within quotation marks. Even says melting wax. All right. Calm, sabi ulit ni Jay, round trip and traveling, Andrea, order. Summoning. Okay. When you write, when you even create your plans and even marketing, the facts are there. Everything is right before you. And I told you this before. For those who are athletes in this class, regardless, if you're playing football, volleyball, basketball, or baseball, whatever it is that you play, diba, they teach you to read the game. They teach you that. They tell you that. They might not teach you because some coaches don't have any clue how to teach how to read a game. But they tell you to read it if you can. Diba? When you sit on the bench, they tell you, tignan nyo kung ano nangyari. As I shared in the chat room last night, diba? Parang, you know, by reading the game, and I think I read the game very well. Very, very well. Whether as a player or as a writer, I read it well. I was able to tell Coach Hans Smith, you might want to transfer your winger to the other side because he's not breaking his man down. Put him in your side. He'll beat that other guy there. Within 2 minutes of the reset, they scored. They scored. And they said, how did you see that? Well, you read the game. Hindi na kaya to eh. Dito sa kabila. Doon sigurado kaya niya kasi hindi ako bilib dun sa defender sa kabila. It's that, di ba? And I recounted how also in the UFL, I thought that this team was playing a bit too high. There's nothing wrong with playing high, provided you can track back quickly. Di ba? And you know where it's coming from. And on live TV, I said, you know, this is a mistake. They've committed too many defenders up front. And once Navy, you know, Navy's not gonna play the short game. They're gonna go for the long ball. And on a quick counter, they're going to score. And that's exactly what happened 30 seconds later. So everyone is looking at me, so Jason Weber look at me like, how did you see that? It's like, well, if you watch the teams, you know what their tendencies are. You know what's wrong with their game. You know what's good with their game. And I called it. That's all. Could I have been wrong? Maybe, but hindi. Medyo alam mo naman yung tendencies but you have to read it. You have to be able to read it, di ba? Parang in volleyball. AJ's dad is Coach Oliver, di ba? Pag may pumasok na nag-sub, doon nila bibigay yung bola doon sa unang pasok, di ba? Dahil di pa nag-iinit doon mo padala yung bola. That's reading the game. So when you write, here's a tip. And I said this, I'm not sure if I said this in our chat room or the other chat room with the other group. When the facts are laid out in front of you, you have to look at it like a forensic detective. You have to look at it like a forensic detective. I'll show you an example before we go any further. No, not this one. Sorry. Hold on a second. Let me pull up this. I had someone attend a NBA event last night. I didn't want to go. While I am thrilled to be attending NBA events, even if it's only online, I want to give opportunities to others. Diba? Hindi naman tayo selfish. Okay lang sa akin yun. Okay. One of the students he wants to be a basketball analyst, and he transcribed the whole event last night. So Glenn Rice was there, Brian Shaw was there, Thirdy Ravenna was there, Richie Rivera was there, and Jalen Green was there. So, ito yung transcript. Hold on, i-share ko sa screen para makita ninyo. Masyado yata maliit. Lalakihan ko yung fonts. Masyado maliit. Hold on a second. It's interfering yata. Hold on. Bakit ayaw? Okay. Nawala naman yung ginawa ko. Hold on a second. Nawala. Hold on. Ito na lang. Sige. Subukan natin ulit. Nababasa niyo ba kanina? Ito, ulitin natin.
Hindi po. Naka-phone po ako today.
Sige lang.
Ay,
The rest of you.
can
you read it?
I can zoom it in naman po pala.
Okay.
A little bit.
So this is what I do when I get things like this. Like my student transcribed everything. And there are all these usual quotes about basketball. And I zeroed in on Jalen Green, who's half Filipino, half American. I mean, I don't want to write about Thirdy or Richie. Sobra na. And I noticed that Jalen mentioned ito, love. More love. Love again. Diba? Ayan. Now, I'm going to show you an example written by someone from ABS-CBN. Ito, papakita ko sa inyo yung ginawa niya. Sorry, na-mute ko sarili ko. Ayan. Jalen Green relishes extra love and support from Pinoy fans. That's a shitty headline. That's terrible writing. Okay, do you need to read the article? You don't need to read it. It said everything already there. Diba? Relishes love and support. Okay, so bakit ako yun yung hinighlight ko? Hinighlight ko yun bago ko nakita yung article. So tinignan ko lang kung anong mga sinusulat ng iba. Okay, good. But here's where I'm coming from. Love. Diba? And when he was talking about love, support, and then he's talking about love of the game. So now I'm thinking, like, how do you interpret love? Do you write it like a love letter, like Slam magazine? Do you write it in that kind of tone? Or how do you show love? How do you show love if you're an athlete? It's what you do. It's the hours you put into the game. And he was talking about it in his interviews. What, diba? He never thought, Jalen never thought that he could be a top NBA pick, and most likely he will be next year. So these are all the things that he was doing in terms of love for the game. So therefore, if I'm gonna write that piece, if I'm writing for my column or a magazine, I'm gonna write it like a love letter. But if I'm writing for a news, then you talk about love for the game. What it takes. When you love something, what are the things that you do? So yun yung angulo ko, hindi yung love and support. Do you see what I'm trying to drive at? I'm going to show you another example here. This one is from Brian Shaw. Okay, Brian Shaw played for the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers, where he was with Kobe. And he won 3 championships with Kobe Bryant. Yan. So yan yung transcript. Look at what I highlighted. You were the star of your team, but now you have to be the role player on this team. You have to accept coaching. Yan. Definitely, it is becoming a positionless game. It's talking about basketball. Ito. What we are living through right now, no one has ever gone through anything like this before. As much as you can, just embrace it and use the time to perfect your craft, but also be mindful that everything you do out there is instant now. What am I getting at? Evolution. So that's the angle that I chose. Sabi ko, you look at everything in front of you, then, okay, what are the, it's like, as I told you about the football example, you look at what the evidence in front of you, look at what's going on, then figure it out. Diba? Kung nagkakalat yung libero, dun mo papuntayin sa libero, yung bola. Ganun yun. Dun mo patama. Diba? Kasi, hindi niya masalo yung bola 1-2 beses, wala nang kumpiyansa yun. Wala na. Pag hindi linabas yung coach yan, doon pa dadala yung bola. Diba? So, when you listen to people, you look for something that they say, sabi nga, hold on a second. I think, hold on. Let me share this. Let me share this with you. Okay. I shared this, hold on. Sabi ni Sir Arthur Conan Doyle when he was writing The Hound of Baskervilles about Sherlock Holmes, the world is full of obvious things which nobody by any chance ever observes. That's why I'm telling you guys to look at things with a different eye, with a different perspective in anything that you do. Whether you're writing, you're creating a marketing plan, di ba? Kailangan kakaiba ka. Pag hindi ka kakaiba, hindi ka papansinin kasi pare-pareho lang kayo eh. So you have to look for something that's different, that angle, that bit of detail that will make your story compelling, will make your photos compelling or award-winning in the case of Albert Garcia, or your videos that will have millions of hits and retweets or whatever. Diba? So, yun. But, okay, I'll show you more pictures, ha? Alam mo yung ginamit ko lang dito, iPad. Ha? iPad lang to. Bubuksan ko lang. Okay. Can you see that photo? Can you see the photo? Thumbs up if you can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's in Giants.
Yes.
The place is called Giants Causeway. Giants Causeway. It's in County Antrim, Northern Ireland. It is a UNESCO site that is preserved and something like that. No? Kasi this whole place is made up of about, if I'm not mistaken, 80,000 rocks of basalt that came up from a volcano eruption. No, this is not man-made. It is not. It is a work of nature. And I'll show you more of that. Now, when we made that, because I was there doing the Game of Thrones tour, because they shot a lot in Northern Ireland and Croatia. But their first few scenes, a lot of their early scenes and locations were in Northern Ireland. So I did the Game of Thrones tour since I'm a fan of the book muna, and then the show. So when we went here, you see the rocks and they're so amazing. But if people are gonna write about the rocks, there probably been a million people who've written about the rocks. And if you go on TripAdvisor, you'll see a bunch of people talk about the rocks, the basalt rocks.
Mhm.
So when I went down and I saw this and I took this picture, and I realized, actually, nung pababa na ako, kasi nag-park kami sa taas and then we would have to walk down. Why? Because they wanted us to take in the breathtaking scene. And aside from the breathtaking scene, and everyone can say it's breathtaking, but I realized how romantic the place is. And then, true enough, this couple were taking their prenup pictures. Isn't that amazing? Swerte yan. Then, just to give you an idea, iPad lang gamit ko yan, iPad. Ito, sinet ko sa tripod ko na, pero iPad yan. Okay. Just to give you an idea, this one's clearer. You can see the rocks now there. Then you can see so many people doing selfies and stuff. And
Is that you?
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Okay.
I was trying to do Echo and the Bunnymen. If you're familiar with that new wave band from the 80s, you'll understand why I'm doing those. No, I'm not trying to do Karate Kid. Some people thought I was. No. I
Okay.
wasn't doing Karate Kid. If you know Echo and the Bunnymen, you look them up. Okay. When I wrote about Giant's Causeway, I didn't write about the rocks. Sure, I mentioned the rocks because that's part of it, but that wasn't my story. What I wrote was about how it's such a beautiful place where you can not only, I did more photos, nag-post pa ako, parang si Rodan the Thinker, nakaganyan pa ako. Di ba? Kung anong mga posing ginawa ko, di ba? Nag-Usain Bolt pa ako na nakaganyan pa ako at lahat. Di ba? You see a lot of people doing it. And then I realized, oh my God, it's the perfect backdrop with you have the sea, the Irish Sea behind you. And a lot of people do stuff, like you saw that couple. So I wrote not only a UNESCO protected site, but it's also a site that is so wonderful you can do all sorts of shots that you want. Diba? So that's how I wrote it. Kasi, you look for that. Eh. And then I remember when I shared it somewhere when the article came out, a lot of people were going like, wow, oh, I didn't know you could do that over there, things like that. So it's amazing. Oh, here's one last photo. For those who are Game of Thrones fans, you probably know this. May Game of Thrones fans ba dito? Meron ba? Meron ba? Wala yata eh.
Sakto lang.
Meron.
Season 1. Ganon.
Okay.
Haven't read the books yet.
Oh,
This is the King's Road.
exactly. There you go.
The King's Road.
There you go.
Hmm.
Chris, tignan mo yung ilaw, pare. Ano to?
Yeah, that's nice.
This is the golden hour, man. 1
Wow.
hour before sunset. And when I was looking at the light, the way the light hit the trees and all that, I said, wow, I gotta take this picture. Walang daya yan. That's the exact way the light was hitting the trees, and it's so beautiful. So I took that, and then I took this photo. And I took this photo. Let me share the other one, the last photo that I will share. Okay, nag-Abbey Road crossing kami sa Dark Hedges. It's called the Dark Hedges. Okay. Ayan, nag-Abbey Road crossing kami. Abbey Road is in the Beatles. Okay? So, again, look at the way. So okay, I remember when I posted this on social media, a lot of people were, especially from Ireland and Game of Thrones fans, were saying like, "Wow, we this is the first time we've seen someone interpret the King's Crossing, as Chris said, or the Dark Hedges, as they're called, the Dark Hedges, in that manner. Well, no one has done that before, and now you see people doing it. I think I remember in King's Cross in London, the part for those who are Harry Potter fans, platform 9 3/4. There's no platform in 9 3/4. There's no such thing. But they put, pakita ko na nga sa inyo. Pakita ko na sa inyo. Okay, may point eh. I want you to look at it how I look at it. Diba? How do I interpret it? Hold on a second. Bubuksan ko lang. Okay. Hold on a second. Ito na. Tagal. Hold on a second. Ayan na. Okay. Ito. Photo opening. Ayan, I can share now. Yan ang platform 9 3/4. Okay.
That's so cute.
So, pwede ka mag-post. Yan yung traditional post. Yan yung traditional. Pero, ginawa ko lang siya. Pero I said, wait a minute, can I try something different? Okay? So, ito yung ginawa ko. Kunwari, I'm a muggle who cannot get in. And you know what? The people who, to the right of that picture is the Harry Potter shop. And they were saying, that's amazing because no one has ever done that. So, because they have a lot of pictures of people who do things there, and this is the first time they saw something like that. So, okay, my point, when you look at things, you look at how you can make this a story. I remember when I posted the Harry Potter shot, a lot of people started doing the same thing, and it's fine. I'm really okay with it. I don't own it, but if it inspires others to do it, ayun. The point I'm trying to make here is to look at things differently, all right? Differently. So when you write about it, you take photos, and I'm sure Chris knows that because he's a photographer, and even Francis, you're a photographer. So you look at things, you try to tell something that nobody can see, diba? Okay. May i-share ako sa inyo na tatapusin niyo. Hold on. Ito. Okay. You can take down notes here. Sa bagay, nasa video, pero mas maganda you're taking down notes. Okay, wrapping up. So, nagawa niyo na yung body. So, tatapusin natin ngayon yung ginawa ninyo. Okay? How do you end ano yung magandang ending na may impact? So, ito yung mga different ways. Okay? You close the entire story with a summary. You ask a provocative question. You call for some action to be taken. You warn the reader of the possibilities of an action or inaction, suggest a scenario. You reinforce what you were postulating or pointing out, or it assesses the point. Okay? And nakita nyo dito, make use of your opening paragraph. I'll give you an example. So you have an idea before you write down yung mga nagawa ninyo. Hold on. Let me share this with you. Hold on guys. Ang dami ko kasing window na naka-open, nakakainis. Nawawala tuloy ako. Hold on a second. Ayan, I found it. Ay, nako, too many windows. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Oh my God. Oh, ito na lang, ito na lang. Okay, okay. Found it. I shared this last night dun sa chat room. No? This is an article I wrote for Mantle magazine during a trip to Venice. We stayed there for 4 days in Venice. And when you go to Venice, you'll see the first thing you'll notice, there are a lot of bridges and there are a lot of gondoleri or gondolas and then seagulls. So I wrote about that. I wrote about a street painter. And this is my first line. In a city of endless bridges and canals, meet a gondolere, a seagull, and the street painter who immortalized them. Yan. So if you're traveling to Venice this summer, most likely you will be picking up a souvenir to remember your time in this ancient city. Now, this is how I ended it. Here, if you'll see the last paragraph, it says, ito yung in-interview ko si Walter Burton. He said, it's easy to find inspiration here in Venice. Every day I meet different kinds of people from different countries. I love meeting them and talking to them. I feel good when they buy my work, and through them I learn more about their own worlds and how they see Venice. That inspires me more and that pushes me to paint every day. Then this is my last paragraph. He smiled and oh yes, the seagulls too. So that is one possible technique. You use something, an element in your first paragraph and balikan mo. Okay? Yun yung tinatawag natin 180 degrees. Hindi po 360 degrees pala yan. Sorry. What am I talking about? Right? Another thing that I want to share here as an example of how you will end it. Balikan natin. Ay, teka. Hold on a second, guys. Nagre-refresh. Punong-puno na kasi yung desktop ko. My God. Alam mo, dalawa na yung external drive ko na pupuno pa rin. Kasi I do a lot of editing work here. There's a lot. It's heavy with video. I do some video editing here. My God, ang bagal. Mahal kasi ng cloud eh. Alright. This is yung article ko about the NU Bulldogs that I shared last night. And I don't know if you read it. And so when you go up the old gym, if you notice the picture here, you will notice the steps. And that was my first time in their old gym. And at the time when I went there, their campus was already new because SM, Schumart, SMDC bought it and the school was already new. Pinagawa nila ng bago. Now their old gym was just across the street. And it was a matter of time bago igiba nila yun. And the NU Bulldogs were practicing one of their last practices in that gym. So I took a picture of it. And as I was going up, I realized, oh my God, there's a story here. There's a story. And as I went up, I was counting the steps. When I went in, I said, this is absolutely perfect. I'm going to write about the gym. And through the gym, tell the story of this team. That's, if you notice the picture there, you see the players sign their names on the wall. They do not have banners like Boston Garden. This is their wall of fame. They write their names on it. Look at that, oh. Dito sa bubungan, di ba? Diyan sila nagsusulat. And you know what? That story wrote itself. Okay? It says here, there are exactly 20 wooden and cement steps that lead up to the dingy old gym where the NU Bulldogs practice in Sampaloc, Manila. Yeah. So when if you look at my ending here, practice is over. The team huddles before the players go off for a shower for the opening at the Araneta Coliseum. There's an air of optimism, but they wonder how long it will last. A few of them linger around to work on their free throws and dribbling. Walang pressure sa amin this year, so maybe we'll play better, predicted Jonathan Janke. He swishes a three-pointer before he packs it in. In a few months' time, his name will be scribbled on the walls of that dingy old gym. Now, if you look at the examples that I gave dun sa writing, meron dito, suggest a scenario. So that's how I ended it there. Okay? Let me show you a few more here. Let me share a few more before we go into the writing. Okay, sharing. I also shared this in the chat room last night. I wrote this about my old coach in Ateneo, Chris Monfort. And when Chris Monfort was the General Secretary of the Philippine Football Federation, we still maintained our friendship. I only played for Coach Chris very briefly because of my grades in math. And as you all know, and AJ knows that since AJ is also in Ateneo, and I'm sure Jules also knows that when your grades are bad, they will not allow you to play. So yeah. Now si Chris, before Chris died, he left with me his photo albums. Yes, nasa akin lahat ng photo. All these photos that you see, he left them with me in a photo album. And this one, yung team niya, Denmark, yun yung una kong... So I latched onto that. Then that's how I told the story. Kasi ganito. Chris Monfort played for UP, where he was a teammate of LaSalle's coach Hans Smith. He was a teammate of the president of the Philippine Football Federation, Nonong Araneta. He was a teammate of Bert Honasan, who was my neighbor down the road, probably 100 meters away from my house. 150 meters. Bert was my college coach. So when you think about it, Chris Monfort played for UP, and he, and along with brother Jesus Oscariz, a Spanish Basque, helped put up the Ateneo football program as we know it. Now, when you write about Chris, people will probably write about that, put up the program with brother Oscariz, that he was the coach when they won in 1996 sa UAP. Ganun lang. But I didn't want to write it that way because everyone is going to write it that way. So when Chris gave me his photo album, I noticed that photo with his team in Denmark. And wow, in the 80s, unheard of yung Pinoy na maglalaro sa Europe. Unheard of yun. Na galing Pinas, maglalaro sa Europe. Unheard of yun. Kahit sabihin mo, hindi gano'ng kalaki yung club, or sabihin natin Denmark, hindi naman siya Germany or Italy. But that's beside the point. He was playing there, so I used that. I used it. And that became the focal point of my story. Balikan natin. So before we go into the writing, I think one of you has to leave in a while. May klase.
Yes.
Sige. Bago ko umalis, magpaalam ka, mag-class picture tayo. Ito. I started my story with a simple conversation led by a dream. You will never be rich in football. But yung pinaka-ano ko, yun yung quote. I started it off with, in April 4, 1975, then 14-year-old Chris Monfort first came to Denmark as part of a team of 13 young, talented Filipino football players who had been sent that summer to learn football the European way. So this is how I ended it. Look at my ending. I talked about his wife, Gina, and their two sons. And they will face the future with the dream that their father once had. Okay? So if you notice, I started out with a dream, diba? A simple conversation led to a dream with his father. Now, the shoe is on the other foot, diba? The fathers giving their blessings to their kids to follow their dream of playing football. In my opinion, and from what I am told by many other people, when you're able to use a technique like that, to use your opening paragraph, your opening line, and babaliin mo for your last line, then it's perfect. It's not easy, but when you'll realize when you know you have a good lead-off paragraph, magagamit mo sa dulo. That's when you know you have something good. Okay. Teka, mag-class picture because one of you has to leave. May klase siya ngayon eh. Picture muna. Let's just get a quick picture because one of your classmates has class in... Sino alis? Sorry. Alis, ikaw ba yun? Sino alis? Who's leaving? Isa?
Si Ate Ali po, Alicia.
Okay. Sige, picture muna tayo bago umalis. Smile, everyone. Smile. One more. Sorry. One more. All right, awesome. Sige, Ali, you have fun in your class. Pero watch the end of this because may homework kayo. Sige lang naman, it's not too difficult. Okay? All right. So ganito, for yung naiwan dito sa class na to, yung sinulat ninyo, yung pandemic picture ninyo, tatapusin nyo ngayon. Isusulat nyo ng ending. So, isi-share ko ngayon yung ginawa ko how to end the paragraph. Tignan nyo kung anong bagay na ending. Okay? Titignan ninyo. It's 1:45. Give you 15, 20 minutes. Do it. Okay, sharing. Start, guys.
Do we write it in the chat or a separate document?
Wherever you started writing it. If you used your desktop, use your desktop. Your laptop, wherever you have the original file.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And then I will ask you to email it to me at the end of the class. Even naman when you do, let's say, presentations in advertising or marketing, you always sum it up, di ba? So the ending is just as important, di ba? It's very important. Next time we'll try about yung sinasabi ni yung sinasabi ni AJ and Erica about how to write na tuloy-tuloy na without using adjectives. We'll do that. Actually, that's for module 2. Ito kasi medyo crash course lang tayo. Sana hindi mag-brown out. My gosh. Kumikidlat dito. Look at your opening paragraph and see how you want to end it based on how you wrote your opening paragraph. Kailangan mag-flow yan.
it.
Um, if you need help, let me know. It's all right.
Sir Rick, I have a question po.
Oh,
I sometimes feel like there's so many things I want to say, but then how do I shorten the thought? Like, uh, hmm,
see what works.
uh,
See what works.
sorry?
See how it works. You write down everything. Diba,
Mm-hmm.
ang turo ko sa inyo, when you
Yeah.
write something, whether you're doing a story, an article, a poem, or a song, or a marketing plan, lagay mo na lahat. Put
Mm-hmm.
everything down. Put everything down and then go back what you want. Ask yourself what you want to say. So based on what you want to say, does everything else support what you want to say? What does not support
Yeah.
what you want to say, then you remove that.
Right. Right. Okay.
If
Okay.
it's going to destroy or interrupt the flow or your
Mm-hmm. Someone had burrito for breakfast.
oh my God.
Beans.
Right. So you remove the non-essential stuff. You know, even if ganito yan, even if there are all these nice quotes from whoever or
Yeah.
whatever, if it's not gonna help the flow of your story, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Yun yung sinasabi
Okay.
ko, trim the fat. Trim the fat from it. Di ba in sports, they say finish strong. This is no different. Writing is no different. You finish strong. Di ba? How you start and how you end is important, di ba? No different.
Right. 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 Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Most welcome. Nagustuhan ko yung tanong niya sa chat room eh. Pero yun yung pag-uusapan natin sa module 2. Mas may 2 sessions actually dedicated to that kasi mahirap yun. Yung that flow, that narrative, di ba?
Yes po.
Actually, you know what? Sa module 2, you will be watching a video. So, ma-feel ninyo. Then, based din sa video, sige nga, gawan nyo ng kwento.
Exciting.
Yep, well, you know, anything I can do to help you guys, it's all good, right?
Yeah, I was actually posting about it like yesterday. Na parang na-excite ulit ako sa pagsusulat because like for a long time, I kind of stopped writing because I felt like anxiety was eating at me na I'm not a good writer or whatever. But then this helped a lot. I love it actually.
But no one
Share
should
ko lang po.
Yeah, but no one should tell you. You shouldn't allow anyone to tell you that you cannot achieve your dreams. You should not. Diba? If you're gonna
Right.
allow people to tell you that, then wala mangyayari sa'yo. Diba? Only you will decide
Right.
that. You can decide that. You know, my dad's janitor. My dad's janitor. He borrowed a lot of money from my dad one time to send his son to the States. And, you know, parang goal niya, yung anak niya makapag, you know, makapag-migrate, makapag-trabaho sa ibang bansa to do well. And, you know, pre-pandemic, the son actually is now a multi-millionaire.
Wow.
He owns a 5-story building in Dallas, Texas, where he does IT work. And you know what? Dumating yung time where he told us that Dad, stop being a janitor. I'll just bring you to the US. And the janitor, I remember he went to my dad and said, I'm paying you back. And my dad said, no, it's okay. But he insisted because he said an agreement was an agreement. And he paid my dad back with interest. And my dad didn't even want it. But the point I'm trying to make is when you want something, no matter what, he's just a janitor. Janitor lang siya. You cannot let people tell you hindi pwede. Hirap yan. Hirap. Pwede kung nakinig ako sa nanay ko, di wala na nangyari sa akin.
Right.
Sabi niya sa akin, wala naman pera yung pagsusulat. Totoo yun. Kahit saan naman yan. Di ba? Kung abogado ka, hindi naman porque abogado ka, gagaling ka o yayaman ka, di ba? Yung mga pulpul na abogado, di ba? It's how good you are, how good you want to be. Wait till we get to the video. That should be fun. Because this is pushing you as a branding to make use of social media. Guys, don't worry ha, kung nahihirapan kayo. Mas gugustuhin ko yung humihingi kayo ng tulong kaysa yung there's asking questions is a sign of their desire to know. It's not a sign of ignorance. Please do not think that porque nagtanong ka na hindi ka matalino. Man, we're taking it to a higher gear beginning with next session. A lot of the fun stuff happens towards the end. Because this is the 4th, you have 3 more to go. Jules, you know Vince Wico? Jules? Nawala yata si Jules. Jules, you know Vince Wico?
Yeah.
He's gonna join the next class, man. Sabi ko kay Vince, seryoso ka? Sabi ko, may newspaper column ka na eh. Sabi, hindi, nakuha ko lang po yun dahil alam mo naman tatay ko. Sabi niya, there's a lot to learn. Sabi niya, okay, alright. Sabi ko, gusto mo doon ka na sa module 2 para kasabihin mo sila Jules. Sabi niya, no, I want to start from the beginning. So, di ba? Bilib din ako sa humility ng tao, di ba? It's good, right? So, I think it's exciting to have Vince in class. And si Vince took over from me sa Gatorade. And I left Gatorade.
You know, the one person been asking about this ever since he saw the first class photo you posted is Alvin Ocampo.
Did I put Alvin Ocampo? Sorry.
No. When you posted it, he called me.
Oh,
He
what
was
did Alvin say?
Well, he was asking. First he was asking why. For me, so I explained why I took the class, and I told him. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed recently that he's been more active on social media. He's been saying more things similar to the gripes everyone has against the football situation over there. And I summed it up by saying, hey, it's not a bad idea for you to do this if you want to be
Yeah. Well, there were a lot of people who were surprised.
It should have.
There were a lot, and like you also, di ba? Parang, but really is also amazed. Like, whoa, I can do this pala. Like even the photos and even the food, you can do it pala. So that's good, right? So now you're not one-dimensional. I'm not saying you're one-dimensional. So just the term. so people don't perceive certain people as one-dimensional. They see you now as multi-talented, multifaceted. That's the idea here in this class. Uh, then again, not everyone's going to become a journalist here. Probably one or two. That's about it. Uh, but Carson is trying to learn this when he does his PR for his football teams, diba? And that's good, diba? What you learn here is you'll be able to
And it's
use.
true, you really enjoy that yourself.
Sorry, who's that?
Now you really have to reinvent yourself. An ex-colleague called me today. After 20-something years, she was laid off and she was basically in charge of all the company.
Okay.
Because of what's going on, they don't foresee conventions going on here in the U.S. for the next year.
Yeah.
So she's been asking around, trying to figure out what's the next step for her, because this is all she's. This is
Technically, Jules, you can still do conventions. Wala si Jules. Guys, wrap up na tayo dun sa article, dun sa end, no? I will ask you to read it. Let's wait for Jules to get back in. Guys, don't be afraid. Ha? Don't be afraid na mali yung nasulat ko. You shouldn't be
oh my
afraid.
God, disconnected.
Okay, welcome back. Yeah. Yeah, you were saying, finish off first, Jules. You were saying?
There's of media events for a company.
Mhm.
It's all because of what's going on right now. She's to. This is taking to figure, like you said, just being tasker.
Tsaka Jules, you can still do it. You can still do conventions, maybe not physically. Like the one that Amy and AJ are attending tomorrow, that's just the kickoff event for a week of activities. So you can still do a lot of these things online. And I think realistically, as much as we don't like to be in one room in a convention room, not at this point in time. It's frightening. So it's best to stay home. And, you know. So there's still opportunities naman.
Yeah, but if you think about it, here in the US, it's a big business where, of course, you can do it virtually. The goal for a lot of these cities is tourism, and no one wants to go.
Mhm. That's true. That's true. But wala, that's gonna have to pick up for some other time. Unfortunately, and it's sad, for even the travel community, the tourism community, it's hard hit. Uh, Even schools have taken a beating. Because not many people have enrolled also. Diba? Di mo naman masisi. Tomorrow I begin my first class for the school in Pampanga. I have no idea what I'm in for, to be honest with you. I have no idea. So I'm a little nervous. I'm not nervous about teaching. I'm nervous because, like, one, their connectivity. Number two, their aptitude. Di ko alam eh. Diba? The one thing I know is I'll not look down on them. Diba? Kasi provincial kids and you want to give them that opportunity. Anyway, tara. Who wants to read what they wrote towards the end? Tell me what method you used. Who wants to go first? Erica, ikaw na lang, volunteer ko.
Sige po. I did a combination of using my first line and a call to action, since my article ended up being a sort of call to action type of article. Yung last part lang po ba yung i-share ko or yung buong sinulat ko?
Read the first paragraph and the last. Yun lang natin.
Okay. All right. So my first paragraph goes, I once read a line from World War Z, the book, that went, most people don't believe something can happen until it already has. That's not stupidity or weakness. That's just human nature. And like most people, when the first few reports of the severity of COVID-19 and the impending quarantine were released, I didn't think too much about it. So that was my first paragraph. So blah blah blah. Yeah. Okay. So it ended up being a privilege article. So last paragraph. Wait, it's a bunch of paragraphs actually. So yeah. So the concept of privilege is difficult to grasp. Who is to say one has privilege? One can argue that although they have everything in life, they can be experiencing something difficult that we cannot see. I counter this by explaining that having privilege does not mean someone is immune to difficulty in life, but rather, because of one's identity or status they receive, a certain level of advantage from society. Thinking about privilege and challenging it is an ongoing exercise. Now more than ever, we need to be conscious of where we stand in life. I've always hated the some have it worse mentality, but I think with everything going on, we should ground ourselves. We all just want to survive this. We are all going through things differently, and we should practice kindness and fairness. We should learn to appreciate what we have before it's gone, ground ourselves, and reflect on our lives. This is the reality now. No matter how much we want everything to come back to normal, these are the cards we've been dealt with. I once read that most people don't believe something can happen until it already has. That's not stupidity or weakness, that's just human nature. And like most people, I never thought that something like this pandemic would ever happen in my lifetime. But I am here now. We should all practice consideration and reflect on the way we think. Now is the perfect time to practice checking our privilege. And paragraph. That's it.
Linda, that's the way. See, now I understand it. Very good. Before
Yes,
I
po. Thank you.
before I forget, guys, Chris de la Cruz in Kazakhstan. I hope you can send something. I'm going to. I have the green light to have your really nice photos in a photo essay, so you'll be credited for your photos in an article. And for those who want to take new pictures again to interpret the pandemic, please do so. Because you know what?
Okay.
This is published. You don't know if you come up with a really nice photo, you don't know who will buy that photo. Okay? So, ang submission nito is Monday next week. Okay?
Monday next week.
Time. You have time. So all of you, yung isang assignment nyo, yun lang naman yung paggagawa ko sa inyo. Kumuha kayo ng magandang litrato. Again, I want you to revisit it now that I'm trying to teach you to look at it with different eyes. How do you interpret the pandemic? How do you interpret it? Guys, make sure that when you look at the photo, there is an emotional connection. Diba? It's
Okay.
such an emotional time for everyone. So ask yourself this, when I take that photo, is someone going to be affected by the photo that I took? Diba? If you're, like, diba? Ano ba nang in pandemic? Isolation, diba? Depression. So how do you interpret depression? Wag niyo naman ipopost. Wag naman, kasi sasabihin post din. Try to capture what's naturally. That's why hanggang Monday, it's Tuesday pa lang eh. A few days to think about it. Diba?
Sir Rick, non-watermark ito, no?
Lagyan nyo ng watermark pero maliit sa dulo. Ha? Lagyan mo.
Okay.
Walang problema yan.
Okay.
Ganito yan. Kasi um, I'm also trying to you know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to do I used to do some reports for Al Jazeera. So I'm trying to see what I can do. Sabihin ko na sa inyo, baka makuha na rin ninyo ngayon. Aside from the photo, see if you can take some video. Wag nyo munang ilagyan ng voice over or whatever. Madali naman lagyan ng voice over yun. But if there's anything that strikes your fancy regarding this pandemic, wag naman yung nakakatawa kasi lalabas to sa Al Jazeera. Wag naman yung whimsical. Something that's striking. That's why I'm giving you time to work on this. And even if you're unable to meet it on Monday, wag naman because tinatamad kayo. Sabagay, kung ayaw niyong gawin, wala naman problema sa akin. It's not my loss. Diba? It's not my loss, guys. I know naman you all submit. I'm just saying lang. I'm just saying it. I'm not saying you guys are like that. So forgive me if that's not the impression I want to impart. What I'm trying to tell you, every one of you, I'm gonna help get that opportunity for you para makita yung trabaho ninyo. Okay? Yung anchor, one of the news anchors in Al Jazeera is a good friend of mine. And although I don't report for them anymore, I can still forward the work. Yeah, well, I still could work for them. It's just that I don't have time right now because I'm teaching almost full-time na. And I have my media duties pa. So, diba? So one, there's the photo essay that I'll put out on ABS-CBN. You'll be credited for that. And if the photo is just really powerful, they'll pay for it. You know, you look for something good, diba? Kung wala, don't sweat it. Mahirap talaga yun eh. Alam mo, good photos and good subjects, tsambahan lang yan. Tsambahan lang yan. But
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
in the meantime, try to interpret it. If there's nothing that you can find that's newsworthy or something that can go viral, then just do the simple interpret it na lang. Okay? Yun naman yung theme ng article eh. How do you interpret it? So I like it because Jules is in California, then Chris is in Kazakhstan. So then Amy, do you still live in that place in Santa Mesa? Doon ka pa rin, Amy? No more na. No more na. O sige. You still have to interpret it. Huh? You have to look for that. Even. So I know you're alone, but you don't need to go out. Look outside your window. See what you can find. Diba? Interpret it. Diba? Ask yourself, this is how you do the homework. Ask yourself, ano bang emotions ko? What are my thoughts during this pandemic? What are my thoughts? How do I feel about this? I'm a student, so how does this affect me? Diba? Okay, I do work online. I go to class online. Sige, but more than that, diba? Like, sila Isa, sila Andrea, they have a front yard, diba? How does, I don't know if you walk your dogs. I have no idea if you walk your dogs. I walk my dog, but when I walk my dog, I disinfect my dog's feet. Diba? Then, ginaganyan ko rin siya dun sa may tapakan para may mga sanitizers and all that. But I don't know what it is, but see if you can interpret it. Anyway, okay, Andrea, you want to share yours? Your first paragraph and last paragraph lang.
So yung shinare ko po before, pinalitan ko yung picture. So, yung picture na pinili ko is yung road sa labas ng house namin.
Yep,
And it was dark at that time. So the first paragraph that I wrote, darkness, emptiness, and loneliness. I took this photo a few minutes before 6 o'clock yesterday. As I stood there in the middle of the road, with my mom on the watch out for incoming cars, I felt overwhelmed with mixed emotions as two thoughts crossed in my mind. What awaits me at the end of this road? What awaits all of us at the end of this challenging time? And then the body, yung middle paragraphs.
Okay.
And then the last paragraph, I'm not sure po if makakonsider kong last paragraph. I'm still not sure po.
Okay lang. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Looking at the picture again in a different perspective, I am left with an unusual impression. At first, I thought that the light was coming from the sun, but as I zoomed into the photo, the light was actually coming from the street light. So what is the relevance of this common street light? We all know how important streetlights are in the dark. Without this light, you lose your way and you get lost. The probability that you trip on something or fall in an open manhole is very likely to happen. You fall in life, some even hit rock bottom, but you cannot stay in the dark forever. Instead, find your light that will guide you out of the darkness. Find your strength, your anchor that will keep you going. What the experts say is true. The effects of the pandemic that we are experiencing right now are just the beginning. What we're feeling now is just the beginning. The worst is coming, and it will eventually. So the question we are left with is, are we prepared for the worst that is about to come? Darkness, emptiness, and loneliness. No one knows when this will end. A few more months, a year, 2 years, a few more. No one knows when these feelings will end. Just like this road, we can either take the path going forward or go backward. We can stay in the dark or find our light. Learn from mistakes and do something. Prepare and accept what awaits at the end of your road.
Oh, ganda naman pala eh. Ang ganda naman pala. What are you worried about? That was good. That was good.
Yep.
It had that feel of Robert Frost, The Path Not Taken. So that's pretty good. Um, Andrea, kayo magkakapatid, dun sa may kanto ninyo, the one, di ba may parang guardhouse nun? Meron pa bang guardhouse nun?
Parang meron po.
May nagbabantay ba ng barangay tanod?
I'm not sure po. Hindi po kasi ako nakakalabas.
Sige, tanong mo lang sa dad nyo. Kung meron man, kung sino yung lumalabas, pakunan mo ng litrato. Okay, what's my point? You know what? While everyone's in the safety of their homes, the security guards are out there. Di ba? Kawawa.
Right.
Kawawa naman sila. Kaya
Right.
kami, nadala namin ang pagkain ng mga tao. So, di ba? Rain and the storm, they're there. Then everyone's at home. The internet, natutulog na aircon, di ba? So, that's one good way of addressing the pandemic. Jules, you want to share what you wrote, Jules? Your last paragraph too? All that. Di ba yung scatter yung ginawa mo, no? Scatter?
Okay. Yeah, it's a photo that says scatter. And then
Yeah.
I got this out. Yeah. Sorry.
okay.
And then the last sentence, first paragraph I wrote before was it said the sign before stepping on the fairway sums up what this pandemic is doing for the social aspect of the most individual sports. And for the most part, okay, I use it as its own subject. I honestly nothing to enjoy playing a game I love. I cannot help but think of those who are not fortunate enough to have fun, let alone survive. There are many ways for us to help. Donate money, clothing, cook food and provide for those in need, provide basic services to assist those laid off and can't afford these at the moment. So many ways, for some time, at the very level, the heads wear a mask, social distance, scatter.
Ganda. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. AJ, you want to share yours? Then we'll go to Avon after. AJ, ko muna. Then Carson, ready na kayo.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Hello. Okay, so my starting paragraph is still the same, but here's I've tackled a bit about the pandemic in the body of what I wrote. But here's the ending paragraph.
Yeah.
Seeing my guitars and what I have, I can't help but notice the dust on my amplifier. Has it really been this long?
Ganda.
In our world today, where we came from has already been an excuse to stay where we are, especially this pandemic. Most are afraid to take risks and would prefer to stay where they are rather than stumble and fall along the way. They prefer to wait for some things that may never come. Others are confident to risk it all in order to make an opportunity for themselves. What have you done this pandemic? Did you find ways to convey your passion? Or did you wait?
Ganda. Ganda. There you go. Now you guys are getting it. You're getting it. You guys are really awesome, huh? Even, ikaw muna. Tapos let's hear from Carson.
Okay. Hi. Before I say anything, I just want to say, AJ, I really love the ending. That was like so strong. I dig that so much. And
Thank
same
you.
with Andrea. That was amazing. I can't top that. um, for the thing that
Don't
I
sell
wrote.
yourself short, my dear. Don't.
Okay. So for the first paragraph that I wrote, it's still the same, but I'll still read it. Also, before I do clarification for the middle part, it's just data and facts, and also what about the Philippine context in terms of like what the Philippines has done in the pandemic.
Even
So here's yes,
the picture that you took was the one with the face masks, right? And the Lysol and all that.
yes,
Okay, so yeah,
yes.
go.
Okay. The world was told by one man that we must learn how to live with COVID-19. It is said that there are 3 rules to follow in this pandemic to help us live with this terrible virus. I present to you the world's declassified COVID-19 survival guide and how I feel about it. Number 1. Distance yourself from people. Stay 6 feet apart from others. But since when did 6 feet stretch from Pasig to Taft? Rule number 2. Do not come in contact with the infected individuals. Follow safety precautions. Stay sanitized. But who do we know is infected, and who is there to trust? Rule number 3. Stay at home. But for 6 months, the world has managed to shrink into 18 square meters. The world has become this apartment, and all that defines it are face masks, alcohol, and Lysol. Everything outside that is a no man's land. Here is why. And then the following is the middle part, which is all about the Philippines and how it's decaying economically and how wala kaming integrity and morality, ganun. The last paragraph is this. The pearl of the Orient Sea lives in a constant state of decay, like the bark of a rotting nara tree who knows only the bitter cessations of its journey. The Philippines, akin to the nara, suffers from parasites and infestations, rotting from within and spreading outward. One does not simply live with parasites and sickness. We will not just live with it. What we want and should be doing is to find a way out of this, to survive. To learn how to live with it is to accept that nothing can be done. But to learn how to survive is to accept that there is a solution to the problem, to accept that there does not need to be a no man's land. I present to you the real and unabridged World's Declassified COVID-19 Survival Guide, continuing from the first 3. Rule number 4. Live knowing that no one exists above the law, no matter what your name may be. Live in the safety of the world, not of your home. Rule number 5. Health problems require health solutions. Pandemic problems require pandemic solutions. Know what to prioritize. And the last rule, the most important of all, rule number 6. Live with integrity. That's it.
Anong sinasabi mo you can't top it? That's pretty good. Good
Thank
job,
you.
Abe. Good job. Oh, there you go. See? My gosh, my hair standing up. Ang gagaling din yun lahat. Carson, buddy, let's hear from you. Jay Mariano, you're next, huh? Go, Carson. You guys are good. Galing. I love your interpretations. Fabulous. So much better than a lot of the shit that's written out there. Go, Carson. Carson? Carson, wala. While you're figuring it out, let's go first muna to Jay. Jay, ikaw muna, Jay.
Sorry, Sir Rick, I haven't used my opening paragraph kasi hindi ko alam kung paano ko ipapag-connect yung opening and closing ko. So I decided to wrap this story up with a call to action.
Sige lang, go ahead. Go ahead, pare. It's fine. It's fine. Go ahead.
I'm telling the reader that we should take a break from the stress we go through in life, because struggles and hardships aren't all that life has to offer. So, ang closing ko is, this goes to show that life doesn't go exactly according to plan. Things happen outside our control and we face painful challenges along the way. During these difficult times that are often filled with worry, sadness, and anxiety, we have to remind ourselves to take a break and smell flowers or bond with our pets. For in these moments of simple, wholesome bliss, we can reflect and appreciate the beautiful amidst in the chaos.
Well, that's nice. That's nice, Jay. Good job, man. Good job. Pare, don't lose that confidence. Don't.
May problema rin ako, Sir Rick, pag kinakabahan. Nag-i-stutter ako pag nag-read ako out loud. So,
no one's judging you here, man. No one's judging you here. It's not about it, diba? I mean, hindi yun eh. Hindi yun. Don't worry about it. No one in this class is gonna judge you for that. We're not going to judge you for what you write. And like I said to the others, don't sell yourself short. See, that's in the simplicity that you presented, that you just read for us, it's actually good. So don't lose it, and pare, don't worry about the stuff. Don't worry about it. That's all the more now it's important that you're able to write, and even when you take photos, that's where you communicate what you want. But your stuttering will cure itself the more you talk, diba? So it's also confidence thing. So I'm trying to give you the confidence by I want to engage all of you, diba? So good job, man. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
If Carson isn't ready, we'll hear from King. Nag-aaway
All
na
right. Can anyone hear me?
ako. Yes.
Carson muna.
Look
Okay. So it's funny that I presented an orange cup and what's the relation of orange cup to pandemic. Just to lighten a bit of the mood. So basically, I learned the blog already. I call it, the title is Orange Cup Colors in Pandemic. So I just read it again, just quick. It's just a quick. Orange mug, dim light, and a cup of life. The satisfaction of one drink after the other. It's one cup of life that feeds my existence. Choosing an orange mug is somewhat the only positive color I can choose to lighten the mood. Color aesthetics can help us perceive our environment differently. Should pandemic be enlightened by merely colors? I suggest it is. Clear your head and look at your colors. Have you heard about ultraviolet rays? The color violet is mentioned. It's a light ray to annihilate the virus right now. Wow, colors like silent superheroes against this pandemic. The dim side of the equation reminds us how gloomy and depressing the current pandemic and how it affects everyone right now. All we can think of is to survive it mentally and emotionally. Survive is the one significant word, just like ants collecting food for the rainy season. It's preparing for the worst to happen. The structural-minded ants are way too smarter than humans. The natural inclination to remain calm and collected can be fought in our heads through the environment we immerse in. Colors, and at that one thing only, that elucidates your entire mood until living becomes a norm. People search for the new definition of norm. What's new normal after all? Is this just behavioral? Or the entire existential crisis that we all have? Soul search. I write for more existence in my orange cup, dimly positive.
Pare, the first, and yung growth yung writing mo from the first piece that you submitted to me, pare, ang layo. There's a better flow to what you're writing now, and without it being verbose, I like it. Kasi napupush mo yung narrative. So good job, Carson.
Hey,
Some football team better hire you already, man.
I have a lot of things to prove.
Kaya yan. Kaya yan. But you can start with Shraki. Simulan mo kay Shraki, pare.
You're my mentor anyway, so I'm sure. You're my mentor.
Simulan mo kay Shrek, pare. Yun na yun. Then people will think of what you're doing. If some people don't see the big picture. So you know what the big picture is, but you start with something small, and then that's where you branch out. Diba? Some people have small minds. Ganun talaga, pare.
Thank you. I appreciate that from a mentor.
Gracias. Oh, there's a dog. Hey, doggy. Yo, King, you're next, King.
All right.
Ganda ng microphone.
Investment.
Oh, I should
Okay.
Go.
First paragraph. We're all connected by the internet, like neurons in the brain. This quote by the late Stephen Hawking seems to be prophetic in what we are experiencing right now with the effect of this global pandemic. The internet has been the source of livelihood, entertainment, and survival in facing this current crisis. Then I've touched some statistics talking about coaches and teachers adjusting to this pandemic, like coaches losing their jobs, adjusting to find another livelihood, and teachers adapting to online mode of teaching. Then for my last paragraph, the internet has been really a source of life in this crisis. It has resuscitated ailing livelihoods. It has reinvented lifestyles. It has also been our source of joy and entertainment. Maybe Stephen Hawking was really correct. In this extraordinary time, the internet really connected humankind like neurons in the brain. It is not the new normal. It is the new world order, a new way of doing things, a new way of connection which everyone has to embrace quickly and immediately.
You know, when you were saying that, I had actually had an idea, King. Baka since you teach, King teaches theology at UST. King, siguro ganito.
Yes.
Yun na yung topic mo. How you teach that right now in UST and
Okay.
how is it right now? How do people
Yes.
navigate it? You know, like, kasi, you know, you have people saying like, uh, wala naman, wala naman siya kasi bakit may pandemic. So why does it
Yes.
matter now? Sulat mo yan. I'll make sure that thing is published.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm gonna get all these opportunities for you guys to get published, for your videos to be shown. Okay. Uh, we might go into a little bit over time. Let's just take one more. Who wants to read? Then I'll just ask the rest to submit na lang.
I can be the last.
Go, Francis. Go.
Okay, so my first paragraph, the contents of my pockets have changed over the last couple of months. From bringing a bag full of things everywhere before, not only basic necessities remain. The required face mask, a small bottle of isopropyl alcohol, sounds fair change. We need to streamline to reduce the risk of being infected. And then I went with the body part with what's been happening the past 5 months. And then I ended with this. So I miss bringing a bag everywhere I go with my foldable umbrella, extra t-shirt, power bank, and other in case of emergency things I've learned to bring over the years. It was my security blanket. In a world the pandemic has turned upside down and inside out, I miss being ready for the things I'm going to encounter.
Wow. Hindi mo pa rin binanggit si Batman, you know?
Hindi ba?
Good job. Okay. Nahiya naman ako sa iba. Baka sabihin hindi natin pinabasa. Chris de la Cruz in Kazakhstan, if you want to read what you wrote, sige. Sige na, para... Tsaka si Isa. Kayo na lang pala dalawa eh. Di basahin nyo na. Who wants to go first? Chris or...
Hello, Sir Rick. I haven't done it yet kasi yung photos hindi ko pa nga actually napopost. Kababang ko lang sa kahapon. But I will definitely.
Sige.
Kahapon ako sa lahat ng past activities.
Isa. Isa. Si Amy pa pala. Sorry. Isa then Amy last.
Okay. My last part is actually my last part is actually short because I struggled with doing with writing on the spot. So my first paragraph is I was told to enjoy college because my 4-year journey will be pretty fast. It's an opportunity for me to do something out of my comfort zone, to explore and be out there, to make new friends, deepen relationships, make connections, know who I am and what I want to be. Before the lockdown, I was looking forward to a lot of opportunities ahead of me. I was excited to try new things because I wanted to prove myself that I am not only limited to what I am doing now. But when the virus affected the world, everything had to be done online. All I've been doing, as well as other students, is to sit all day, open my laptop, do and finish the requirements, join online meetings, wait for the presenter, wait for the attendance check to be done, which takes up so much time, deal with the weak internet connection, be patient with video lags, and try to stay focused in an unproductive environment. A lot of students are experiencing this situation, but if it were to continue for the next years, will we succeed? Is it effective? Are we really in for this? So for my last part, online learning does have its challenges. The biggest challenge is mostly for students like me and teachers. All these difficulties in connection and productivity affects our lifestyle while struggling with the pandemic. But one thing's for sure, There is still light despite having this situation. There are still opportunities that await us. There's much to learn and much to do. It is a matter of maximizing your resources. Think of what you do. Think of what you can do with what you have. That's
You,
it po.
that's nice. Siguro you can, if I may, no, only if you want to do it. You might want to. I'll have this published. No? Kasi everyone is struggling. Everyone in this time. So you might want to add like, I'm struggling with my online learning and all that, but what's that compared to the bigger struggle, which is people surviving unemployment, surviving the virus, even surviving each other, di ba? Because people are home, nagsasawa siguro yung iba dyan sa isa't isa, di ba? So you might want to include that. If you want, only if you want, I will not force you. If you want, and then I think that magandang angle na yun. In fact, kahit sa kapatid mo, even the road not taken, there's a lot of good stuff that you've written. In fact, I'll try to get all of them published. Only if you want to send it to me, and di ba? I think it's ang daming maganda eh. We can, what I will propose to my editor, si Vlad Bunoan. Vlad went to LSGH and then UP for college. I'll propose it to him, essays about the pandemic. So I'll make sure that all their stuff is published. Ganda eh. O Amy, ikaw na last. Then we can call it a day because ayoko naman. I know it's late na rin for Jules. Amy, go ahead.
This is very short no. May mga binago lang ako ng konti sir dun sa paragraph ko nung sa mga nauna. Actually, parang nag-team up lang ako with the title which is My Pandemic Smile. So ito nga yung if you read it, I can read it na lang ng mabilis lang na maliit lang naman siya. So ganun pa rin naman siya almost. Take me back on my childhood days where laughter is genuine and innocence is precious, where dreams cannot be found yet tranquility is present. Mother Teresa once quote, "Give small things with great love." She might refer it to a child's smile. I add a child's smile. And then, no one can resist a child's smile. To a mom, it can be a way to soothe their tiredness. To a stranger, it can be a key to unlock their kindness. Ito yung last part ko, sir. Very simple pa rin. Oh yes, I can never bring back on that day where a mud on my feet means happiness and a dirty hands means fun. Nevertheless, those memories can never be taken away from me. And behind this mask, yes, I smile.
Oh, isa ka pa. Stop selling yourself short. Maganda. Ganda, good job. Oh, okay, sige. So, ipropose ko kay Vlad yan na reflections in this pandemic. And maganda. You guys are impressive. Bilib ako sa inyo. All right, so again, I'm not gonna force you to do it. Only if you want to do it, diba? I'm not that kind of person, and this is not a formal class where there's a pass and fail. So it's up to you. If you want to get published, submit it to me. All right. Now, just a reminder: take a photo or a video. Interpret this pandemic. Choose something na wag yung whimsical, something. Sige na, deep, no? Deep. Kasi that's yung deep photos or yung astounding photos, yun yung ano eh. So I want you to think like a director. Think visually. And when you take that photo, make sure the moment people see that photo, they know what the story is. Kasi kung pag-iisipin mo pa sila, you're gonna lose that moment. All right? So that's your only assignment. It's June Monday. If you get ready for Saturday, it's Pauline Lagdameo, Chef Pauline. She's gonna be there. And if you have free time on your hands, you can start working on your 1-minute video where you answer the question, who am I? 1 minute, please do not go 1 second longer. I will be cross if you go 1 second longer. And please do not send me a 10-second video. Huwag mo na lang pakita sa akin, maiinis na ako. 45 seconds to 1 minute. Bakit 1 minute? Instagram. Okay, people say they have a minute or 2 minutes. So this is part of where we're going, where we try to sell you as a brand and to create your own profile. All right, so you can dance, you can sing, you can juggle a football, you can dribble a football, yung bahala, whatever. Pakita niyo yung mga Collection nyo kung gusto ninyo. Sasagutin mo lang naman, who am I? Bahala kayo kung paano nyo sagutin yan. Pwede mong gawin production number, that's up to you. Yung isang class, yes, yung iba nag-production number pa sila. Ang galing, nag-drama-drama pa. But that's fine. However you want to.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, question.
Go.
I have videos of myself na medyo old na but still quite relevant to who I am right now. Pwede ko pa rin ba magamit yun kahit na stock video ko na siya?
Eh kung gusto mo, i-edit mo na lang with some new footage. Kasi, start your videos by asking the question, who am I? You have to mention it. Who am I? Then you can splice old stuff. That's okay. But I wanted to shoot new video. Diba? Kasi I'm sure the AJ today is different from the AJ about a couple of years ago. Maybe there are not so many obvious changes, but there's a reason why we're going to be doing this. I'll explain it again next time. May reason lahat yan. Pinag-isipan ko lahat yan. Hindi ko pinag-gagawa yan sa inyo dahil trip ko kayong pahiyayin yung sarili nyo. Tapos, guys, you know what? Ipopost niyo yan, ha? Yung who am I? I-share niyo yan. Hindi pwede hindi na share yan. That's not yet due. That's probably towards the 6th session that we're having. Okay? So, the last reminder, you stay safe, everyone. Stay safe. It's so bad right now. Jules, ingat ka dyan, bro. Mr. De La Cruz in Kazakhstan. Putik, pare. Health is wealth, okay? Health is wealth, brother. You take care of yourself.
Thank you.
All right? You take care of yourself. Carson, Francis, Aven, Jay. Don't lose that confidence, Jay. AJ, Jules, King, Amy, yung magkapatid, si Isa, si Andrea, and si Alyssa, Erica, and then Chris. Thanks, guys. Stay safe. I'll see you on Saturday, okay?
Bye-bye po.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.